Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today we've got some special guests on from Komodo, so thanks for joining us, Bitcoin Benny. How you going?
Thank you very much for having me. Very
And,
well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
and one of the engineers, Milo. How you going, Milo?
G'day, good, thank you.
So Komodo started off as a privacy coin, but I wanted to have you guys on today because there's been so much happening. You guys had the most active GitHub of 2017, I believe, and recently in China you were voted, one of the most active and best blockchains for innovation and all that sort of thing. So I want to get you guys on and talk about what's been going on with Komodo and all the things you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having us on. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. And yeah, as you say, it's been a pretty busy year, hectic year, and the fruits of labour are sort of just starting to come out. And to be recognised as the second most innovative coin behind Bitcoin is pretty exciting for us, and that's good recognition. Yes, and as you say, we sort of had the early days. We were known for being a privacy coin, and that's just as the platforms evolved and as the offerings have evolved. The privacy feature is just one of the. That's exactly what it is. It is a feature of the platform. So it's been it's a very interesting year. And if you've been watching recently, we're slowly getting into that point now where we're starting to release the end user products that have come as a result of the work that's been put in.
And those platform coins, as you say, which have things built on top of them, tend to have been the most successful in recent times. So Milo, do you want to talk about what else Komodo's doing in terms of enabling smart contracts, the barter decentralized exchange, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, so crypto conditions, which is the basic elements of smart contracts, which is the conditions of a contract and fulfillment, which is the payment. That's been merged into the Komodo core. Crypto conditions is a draft internet engineering task force standard. There's the same group that sort of dictate how the standards of IP addresses or DNS and all sorts of stuff. So crypto conditions is an exciting new thing which came out of Ripple Labs, and some of the Komodo devs at the forefront of that development, and that's been integrated into Komodo core. So they're some of the things we'll be building on through this year. The decentralized exchange, the DEX, that's built on top of atomic swap technology. So there's no middleman. It's basically wallet to wallet. We do some swaps. And so from that exchange mechanism, we have new sort of products and services like decentralized crowdfunding, like the DICO. Again, there's no middleman. It's got many legitimate uses, which I mean, there's always when people don't understand the tech, they label it incorrectly sometimes. But I mean, it can sort of drive more society, community-driven projects. You can do fundraising for, if you've got a terminal illness and you really need help, it's another form of getting funds from people that want to give. Like there's just the outreach for this tech is incredible. There's about four or five more base sort of things we could go into.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the technical side of things. Benny, what excites you from the maybe user experience side of those components?
I think obviously with any new tech, you're obviously going to have some sort of teething problems, and you're going to have issues in trying to get that into the user's hand and to make it ready for mass adoption. So I think it's exciting that people are actually getting a chance to test and to trial and to use the technology that's being brought to the forefront. And I think that the way that we do it is pretty good because we involve the community and we allow people to sort of get in, test, help us find bugs or issues.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that progress and the process has started, and I know it's a long journey, and I know it's going to take a long time before it's perfect and flawless, and I don't think you probably ever get there. But I'm just really excited that after all of this time, these words like atomic swaps that have been buzzwords for such a long period of time, that the average user is closer and closer to being able to integrate this into their everyday trading life, and I think that's something that's pretty exciting and special.
Yeah, and for enterprise adoption, do you want to talk about, Milo, the decision to go with the delayed proof of work algorithm and the benefits that you guys have for having individual blockchains rather than trying to have everyone using one blockchain because we know their current limitations?
So let's go with the delayed proof of work first, and then the sort of your native blockchains that run within the ecosystem. So delayed proof of work just is a mechanism where the latest hash of the block, which is a Merkle root tree of all the transactions and what goes on in the blockchain. So that hash gets written to Bitcoin network, and that basically mitigates against a 51% attack. So the longest chain rule doesn't apply anymore because everyone on the whole network knows that at this point in the blockchain was this Merkle root, and it's been written into Bitcoin's network, and Bitcoin's network has incredible hash rate.
Yeah.
So to break Bitcoin's network to change that value to then modify Komodo stuff, I mean, you're going into you have to be a time traveler, basically, or something unheard of at the moment. And that gives an anchor point, basically, to roll back if there's any problems. And I mean, at the exchange level, centralized exchange, if they use 30 confirmations or some long period of time just to make sure that funds go out. So in the event that there is some nefarious activity on a blockchain, and this isn't limited to Komodos. I mean, we can notarize onto Bitcoin's network other blockchains. So the centralized exchange can wait until that notarization point, and then they know hand on heart that, all right, this is the truth. We're now going to send out our payments that were due within this 30 transaction limit, and it's just a safer mechanism.
Yeah.
To have two levels of security. Now, your own custom native blockchain, it runs on its own mining, so you can have as much mining on your own blockchain as possible, as many transactions as fit into the block in that 1 minute period. In Komodo world, our block time is 1 minute, and I mean, we've got new stuff to increase the transaction rate. We recently did a 20,000 transaction per second load test. All the stuff's there in the public, and we're going to continue building it because it's hard to put a theoretical limit on how we've managed to achieve scalability because you just throw more hardware at it and it will linearly increase. So the next hurdle will be 100,000 transactions, and that comes through our native sort of blockchain. We call them asset chains, but you make your own thing, and we can engineer it whatever purpose is needed.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it's a bit of a complex way to do it, where engineers that are in the know sort of have to configure it all, but these are the hurdles that we want to eliminate so that more people can use our technology for doing what they need to do in the enterprise and whatnot. So, and then enterprise apps are another sort of step where there can be pre-shared keys so that only certain apps talk to one another, and that's all using sort of your generated wallet, all the elliptical curve maps and blah blah blah. So
anything to add in there, Benny? Again, or
yeah, look, I think it's exciting that that sort of stuff's going on behind the scenes, and I think it's really good that that the technology sort of developing, and that's something that's a constant focus. And going back to your earlier points, I mean, there's a lot of projects that probably are better known out there than Komodo that are probably doing far less. And I think that it's a testament to the team that they've really put their heads down, focused on making sure that the environment's as stable as they can possibly make it, and that they're looking at being innovative and not worried so much about really going out there and singing from rooftops. I mean, we're all at the point of early and developmental stages of these technologies, and it's probably too early to stand on rooftops yelling out, "This is what we can do."
Yes.
So we'd rather just get along quietly, keep up our GitHub repository records, and just keep plugging away and trying to solve problems and build a better blockchain network.
Yeah, and I think one of the important points that you touched on for the users to understand is that the 51% attack, we literally just uploaded a video, a few days ago, by the time this one goes out. But the point is that we're actually seeing this stuff happen and be an issue in the real world. So the fact that you guys leverage the security of the Bitcoin blockchain to hash your history to that, it really is fantastic. And seeing these projects use Bitcoin, because I think a lot of people don't understand exactly what Bitcoin is still, and that we're going to see other things be built on top of it in the future as well. Excited about all that?
Very, very excited. And I think that obviously we've seen it with the ERC20 projects, that the scalability is an issue. So it's something that scalability and privacy are central to what we try and do. And I think that obviously that coming along and adding a decentralized exchange onto that's powered by atomic swaps, I think it all sort of does gel together very well. And as you previously said, we do a lot of things, but like any good story, all of those little subplots will kind of tie together in the end to form one big thing. And that's I think that's always been the vision.
And how far away can we, how long until the users can look forward to using Komodo and doing an atomic swap, nice user interface? How far away is all this stuff, do you think?
0 day. You can there's a couple of repos with the DICO app, which is essentially Block Nation was the first to utilize it, and I mean their technology is basically it's a project. We'll just use the DICO app. If you go to GitHub, there's some releases there. You can download it for Mac, Linux, Windows. Get some Komodo, and then a couple of clicks, and you've got a wallet. They've got their market makers out there. They're ready to exchange their Block Nation token. Utrim is another one, and there's another couple of projects about to release as well. And within 4 minutes or so, your Komodos get changed into the other token or coin. They're a native blockchain as well. So that stuff is out there. That's a couple of weeks. It's been released. A lot of successful swaps. I don't know the exact number for those projects, but the whole atomic swap network's over 100,000 swaps, which will, I mean, just in the last week, there's been 5,000 swaps or so.
Yeah.
It'll be 200,000 before the end of next season, as in.
Yeah, I think that. I think to add to that, the thing that, to answer your question, I think that with this type of a thing, that's proven that the technology works. What we actually need is obviously adoption, and we need liquidity. So the more projects like Block Nation and Oot and stuff that come across to us, and also established tokens and coins that come across to us and use the ecosystem and act as liquidity providers, means that it's a smoother and more utilized experience. And I think that as soon as that starts to happen, which is very close, you'll see that we sort of pick up traction on that.
It's the same issue that a lot of decentralized exchanges face. We actually need more people to come and prices to pick up, and then the ecosystem starts building on top of itself, I think, in many ways.
Exactly.
Now,
yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt you there,
yeah.
Alex, but yeah, like these, the DICO app is quite user-friendly. It's a Meteor app, and it's not limited to just using Komodo. You can use Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, Zcash, all of them, like 95%. Well, at the moment, we'll Qtum. It's early stages. The Bitcoin protocol coins definitely, and we're working towards a new version of the swapping mechanism, so it's very easy for people to use their Ethereum and ERC20 tokens to. But yeah, it's not just Komodo that can do atomic swaps with our technology. I mean, that's the whole point. So it's open to all.
So yeah, in the future, we want users to be able to change different coins, and again, with that nice user interface, they don't even have to know anything about protocols or anything like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Any thoughts on privacy coins, Benny? Now, the CoinCheck today, Corebit banning privacy coins. Is this just trying to protect themselves and precautionary, or do you guys have thoughts on all this?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of the legislation is legislation always has to run to catch up to technology, and that's the same case for every movement. And I think it probably is a little bit precautionary. The thing that I'm not so worried for ourselves, and the reason I say that is because we don't do just one thing, and privacy isn't sort of the only thing that we do. It's just a feature of our ecosystem. So we're not set up and build as a straight privacy coin. But I think obviously you can understand the element of concern, because people would be assuming what could it be used for if it's not regulated or governed properly, and this would probably potentially scare centralized exchanges who are already having a torrid time with everything being reclassified to securities. Yeah. So my very simple view on the matter is I understand the reasoning, but I think it's probably more precautionary. And there's times, as you say, we do a lot of things. There's times when you say maybe it would be good to do one or two things, but I'm very glad that we're not just a straight privacy coin, and that's not what our core business is.
Thanks. It's always tough to talk about these sensitive issues. We know the legislators are probably listening in. Any final thoughts, guys? I mean, it's fantastic. The message I wanted to get across today is that Komodo is more than a privacy coin, smart contracts, decentralized exchange, decentralized ICOs. I appreciate you guys both coming on, but any final thoughts?
Look, I think it's, like I say, it's early days, and we would invite people to come across and have a look. And as you say, we need the liquidity, and we more importantly need people that have been around for a little while, who understand the blockchain space, to come across, give us their views and opinions and feedback. We're very responsive and receptive. And this is something that's for the end user. So we want to make sure that the end users are involved from the start. So come across to our Slack channels and our community and join in and become involved and be part of helping us to create this movement.
Thank you. And Milo, any final thoughts?
Yeah, we've got a very friendly community. It's how I ended up in Komodo, just as a punter, just sort of strolled in, and there was some very clever text and very friendly, and everyone's open to just. I mean, we've got a trading channel, and not much trading actually gets talked about. It's just friendly banter.
Yeah,
it's quite an unusual community. It's old school.
I get that feeling as well, guys. So I really appreciate you both coming on today. All the best. I'm sure we'll be in touch again in the future.
Pleasure. Thanks very much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.